Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
There will be potential relationship destruction. It's all in there.
Alright. Yeah, and on that note, hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. And today we are joined, or at least I am joined, I'm Sid Partu, and I'm joined by Zazubar, aka Bill, the normal person, and oh my god, there's a girl here!
Whoa! Batten down the hatches!
Yep,
I am a girl.
She possesses a vagina. Has agreed to come on the show, and I don't know how, like, if this is a geeky gentleman episode or if this is a geeky ladies and gentlemen episode. Lady and gentlemen, I don't know. Do we have to change the title of the show, Bill?
No, not at all. She's not worth it.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
No, I love you. Here's the thing. Well, everyone, if you're familiar with my channel, you know exactly who's on the call tonight. We have Nicola, aka Pyro Wolfie. Say hi.
Hi. Yeah, I said it before.
Oh, did you? Okay, here's what happened. The call totally cut out for me for like a good 20 seconds, so I had no idea what you guys were saying.
Oh, so you totally missed my joke about possessing vaginas?
What? Oh, I
Definitely missed that one.
okay.
Oh,
I'm
man.
skipping too.
Damn! I just thought everyone was incredibly, like, freaked out and, like, they thought it was awkward, whereas I thought it was hilarious. But no. Damn you, Skype, for cutting out my hilarity.
Does it constantly.
I know.
Skype is
Anyway.
a harsh mistress.
Audience members, today... I'm having such a hard time tonight, I'm sorry.
It's a...
Audience members, today we're doing a debate topic, and Bill has chosen it for us. So, Bill, what are we discussing? And this time, since you've explained it 3 times already tonight, within the last 10 minutes, economize it to something that could be expressed in a tweet.
Okay. Basically what we're going to be discussing is taking old characters and reworking them for either a modern context or any new context. Was that acceptable?
Yeah, so rebooting characters in new and different ways that we wouldn't really think of. Would that be a better way?
Exactly, and if I may just point out the example I used to you guys. Taking John Watson from classic Sherlock Holmes, taking that character and turning it into a woman with a very different backstory. Is that okay? And we might get into that specifically. None of us here are, and I have to admit, I don't think anyone here has actually watched Elementary, but I've seen some clips. But I think we can still comment on whether or not, like, that, or even something like that is okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, is everyone okay with starting with that?
With taking Watson
because...
and turning it into a girl? Sure.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing. I almost wanted to watch that because I actually really like Lucy Liu. Like, anytime I remember an actor's name, it's because they're either really cool or I despise them as a person.
Right.
And Lucy Liu is one of the really cool ones. I don't know, she just pops up randomly in all these really good movies.
Yeah, like Kill Bill, she was amazing in that.
Right? And so I really considered watching that because I was like, she's doing TV? This must be amazing. And then I saw Sherlock probably like a week after seeing the trailer for Elementary, so I was just like, there's no way it's going to be that good.
Yeah.
And Sherlock's something else that we could kind of talk about, but I don't want to make this a Sherlock video. But just the idea of Elementary, see, I'm not against it because I don't see Watson as the iconic character that I see Holmes as.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But
so I don't know, I guess like how iconic they are on a visual level matters, because I see Watson as very much just a character's name kind of level iconic.
That's fair.
You know, you look at the difference between I haven't seen her performance, but it's got to be radically different from everyone else that's done it simply on the fact that she's a woman.
Yeah.
Look at the difference between Lucy Liu, the guy that's in Sherlock right now, I can't remember his name,
Freeman.
and Jude Law. Look at the difference in these performances. There's a lot that you can do with this character.
Yeah.
So I think that's a valid thing to do. Making Watson into a woman. I don't know if it worked. I know there's no way in hell it's better than Sherlock, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it briefly.
Now, let me throw a curve. Nicola, I know you're itching to say something, but let me just throw another curveball out to you guys. The only sole reason they did it is because they wanted to give Sherlock a love interest that wasn't Irene Adler.
Was that like a confirmed thing, or are you just like assuming that that's the case?
I have never read an article that says that, but I guarantee to you that's the case, and let me explain why. The first scene where they meet in that show, which I have seen, is a joke, where Sherlock is sitting in his apartment, or whatever. There's like 15, whatever it is, it could be a sewer, I don't know. There's like 15 TVs in front of him, and, like he's the Joker or something, and, one TV is off, right?
Yeah.
He turns to Watson and says something akin to, "Do you believe in love at first sight?" And then, roughly 20 seconds later, a TV show pops on that says the exact same thing.
Weird.
Now, the other thing is look at the promotional material for the show, and the poster that has Watson on it says, "My dear Watson." So,
fair point, and I mean, I was with Bobby in the movie theater when, like, it was one of those things where they're, you know, actually showing the commercial in the movie.
That's actually how we saw it, too.
Yeah, and, like, it was weird. We're sitting there watching the commercial for it, and it ends, and he looks at me and goes, "Third season, they sleep together."
Oh, probably sooner than that.
Well, no, that was his bet. He said, by the third season, they sleep together.
I guarantee it. Nicola, you're trying to say something?
It's not a bad point, Bill, and I mean, to be fair, it's not like this whole dynamic of Watson and Holmes having a romantic relationship is completely out there. I mean, obviously it's heavily implied in Sherlock, and, you know, Robert Downey Jr. and Jude Law. I'm surprised there's not more of them, you know, making kissy faces on the internet.
Yeah.
But Nicola, you've been quiet so far. Let's hear your thoughts on Lucy Liu as Watson.
No, I just had a question concerning the show, because I honestly have next to no idea as to what it's about. Is it set in, like, America, and it's supposed to be an American drama show?
Yes. The premise of the show is that Sherlock suffered a major drug and alcohol relapse, and he was put into some kind of a sanitarium, or no, I guess rehab is a better word for it, not a sanitarium. His father sent him to America to kind of recover. And Watson is his sober companion. And that's why it's in New York City. And then he forces himself onto the New York Police Department to basically do the same thing he did for Scotland Yard.
Wait, let me ask this: Is Watson, not Watson, was it his father or was it Minecraft?
It was his father.
Oh, that's disappointing. Why couldn't it have been Minecraft?
Well, Nicola, let me ask you this, since I know you're more familiar with the classic home stuff than we are.
I'm kind of not, really, but...
Oh, you're not? Okay. Well, you walk around school with a giant Sherlock Holmes book, so...
Yeah, I'm trying to read it, but...
Well, I've never picked up a Sherlock Holmes story after I read Sherlock versus the Wolfman, so...
Ian, was it that specifically, or was it Hound of the Baskervilles?
That's just what I call it. I don't remember the...
I had that one, actually, The Hound of the Baskervilles. I haven't read it yet, though.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that's, like, Sherlock Holmes' like, most classic story, that, like, everyone knows, and it's referenced in pop culture, and it's not a werewolf. It's not a werewolf at all.
Well, no, at least the one I read, it was a legit werewolf.
Okay, it's not Hound of the Baskervilles.
Okay. Anyway, but go on, Nicholas. Damn it, talk, woman. Talk.
Nicholas, what are your thoughts?
No, I'm just shocked at, from what I could tell from what you said, the fact that they're not making Sherlock Holmes already so engrossed by the fact that, engrossed with all this detective business, he seems to be kind of forced into it, from what I'm getting from you.
Yeah, it comes off as a very forced premise. And I don't know. I don't want to make this a review of Elementary, even though it's kind of turned into that.
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to use this as a springboard point of and I know Ian, you said you thought it was okay, but Nicola, just kind of speaking generally, if I were to take a classic character and rework them so differently, changing their gender, changing their background, changing their character dynamic with the protagonist, do you think that's okay, or do you think that that's just don't even try it, just create a new character if that's how far you're gonna go?
Here's the thing, if you're trying to create a different message utilizing that character and all of the changes you're doing to it, then that's okay. But if you're trying to make the same message that the original story has done, then there's no point to it, I believe.
So you're against change for the sake of change?
Yeah, if you're just doing it just to make a radical image and there's no backstory or there's no reasons behind it, then I don't really see the point. Unless you're just doing it as, oh, look at us, we're different, when behind the surface you're really not.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
I agree with that. To a point, I'm trying to think if Sherlock, to use because I have a feeling that Stephen Moffat is the reason Bill picked this topic. Just because, Sherlock and...
Well, Stephen Moffat is my messiah, so...
Yeah, it's God's... Like I said, if Bill can die the day that Stephen Moffat directs a Godzilla movie.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Or at least writes one. But anyway, it seems like Sherlock, I don't know if they're really doing anything different besides adding, text messaging.
Well, I would argue that the changes to the mysteries...
Intent-wise with the character.
Yeah, it's supposed to be set in modern day, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's modern day London.
21st century Sherlock.
Then yeah,
Yes.
if they're utilizing old and modern stuff that comes with today, and they're I don't know if they're using that to set up obstacles for Sherlock, then yeah, I can understand why they'd set it for that. But
fair enough. I mean, they do make it very 21st century crimes, like with Moriarty's scheme in the last episode of season 2.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point. I guess I was thinking more like, I thought you were talking intent with the character, not things that the character never could have had. So basically...
Oh, well, I was talking about that too, sorry if I wasn't clear.
No, I mean, yeah, I got you. So, intent with the character can stay the same as the original character's intent, but you can change the world that they're in and create new and interesting dynamics?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So you can have one or the other, or you can have both, but if you're just putting if you're telling the same story... I'm trying to think, what did this? What's something like that literally the only thing that changed was it was in the 21st century, or it was just one small change that was supposed to make it different, but literally nothing else about it was different? I don't know, what about
Lerman's Romeo and Juliet?
I actually really like that. I was about to say that. I really like that. This is my favorite version of Romeo and Juliet.
I'm not a Shakespeare fan myself. That's the one where...
I'm not a Shakespeare fan, but that is my favorite version of Romeo and Juliet.
No, Juliet is amazing. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's the one with Leonardo DiCaprio in it.
Oh, yeah, that one's alright.
I really liked it.
Yeah?
Here's why. Because it came on TV, and I'm sitting there starting to watch it as the prologue, with that newscaster lady pulling into the screen kind of thing. And my mom says, turn it. I don't want to watch something violent. I go, it's Shakespeare. No, it's not. It was just so different that she wouldn't even though she could hear the words coming out of their mouths and hear that it was obviously straight off the page Shakespearean dialogue, she didn't believe that it was Shakespeare.
Interesting, though.
That's why I really enjoyed it, just because to take Shakespeare and make it not parent-friendly is impressive to me.
But
not anything else like that though. That was just it was completely useless Like, they didn't change anything else that you guys can think of?
Oh, there's tons of stuff. I mean, it's kind of hard to pinpoint specific examples, mind you. Give me like 5 minutes, I could probably think of something, but, like, I'm trying to think of a specific character, not like a movie, like that overall, like, setting-wise changed it. I'm
trying to think too. The only one that I can specifically think of is Sherlock, unfortunately, if it's not a movie.
No, just anything, TV show, movie, whatever.
All right, let me point one out to you guys that's kind of like this. Let's look at Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin.
Uh-huh.
So you take Mr. Freeze straight out of Batman the Animated Series with Nora Freeze being sick and being put in cryogenic, freeze, and you have Victor having this very like tragic backstory. But then basically the Mr. Freeze that we get in the present day is straight out of the Adam West TV show. And he gets very little pathos that relates to what he's doing, because ultimately, whenever he does something criminally, it's just to sustain his own life. Whenever he steals a diamond in that movie, it's just to power his suit.
Well, wasn't that...
No, he steals them to also, like, power this giant freeze gun at the end.
Yeah.
But that had nothing to do with his wife.
Yeah, but he thought his wife was dead, and he thought Batman killed her.
True. Okay, I can't believe we're even, like, trying to defend /rebuke Batman and Robin.
The thing is about that script is, like, the main premises of it are not terrible for a movie. They're not great Batman writing, but, like, they're not the worst thing ever. It's the way in which the script was executed.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like they had a really good outline for a Batman movie, and then they just threw in all these ice puns, and then it fell apart.
That and also George Clooney.
I don't know. George Clooney's a pretty good actor. If he tried, he could probably pulled off Bruce Wayne or Batman.
I don't know. I don't see him as Batman, but my point is, you take that point from the character, and it was a modern change. Classic Mr. Freeze doesn't have that. That wasn't imposed until Batman TAS. So
well, no, there was no classic Mr. Freeze. There was Mr. Zero.
What do you mean?
He was never called Mr. Freeze until Paul Dini got a hold of him. He was Mr. Zero.
Really?
And he had, like,
I'm pretty sure they called him Mr. Freeze in the Adam West Batman show.
I don't even think he was in the Adam West.
Oh, yes,
Batman
he was. He was portrayed by like 3 different actors.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe Paul Dini wasn't the first one to call him Freeze, but for the longest time in the comics, he was Mr. Zero.
I wasn't aware of that, but I'm 98% sure he's called Mr. Freeze in that show. But my point is, it's pointless to have that part of his character in there, because honestly, I think that just for the simplistic way in which that movie is executed, being a live-action commercial for toys, I think it would have just been better to say Mr. Freeze likes to steal diamonds.
Fair enough.
So, well, that movie wasn't that great, to be honest, and I'm pretty sure that...
No!
What are you talking about? That was a work of art!
It was amazing, I know. Arnold Schwarzenegger completely owned it, no, but, he was two-dimensional.
How did he not get an Academy Award for that role?
Citizen Kane, fucking Gone with the Wind, all these different movies are garbage. Batman and Robin, bitch.
And his scientific evidence behind him was just absolutely perfect. I mean, the Ice Age did wipe out the dinosaurs.
It totally did.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Like, someone posted a video, they're like, Mr. Freeze puns, and then I started watching them, like, these people picked all the... That's not a pun, that's just a stupid joke.
Yeah, the Ice Age is not a pun, it's just a...
Yeah.
It's just a... He's pointing out a fact.
Or
well, no, he's pointing out completely bullshit facts,
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, well, obviously the Ice Age did not kill the dinosaurs, but, you know...
It does sound badass, though.
Yeah, it does. It's like if you're gonna threaten someone who's riding a dinosaur, whatever, I guess...
I don't care. Batman can totally ride a fucking dinosaur.
He does in Batman Odyssey.
Yeah, he does.
I'm just saying, there's some things that should have been awesome in that movie, and they just, I don't know what that movie did to, fuck that up.
Guys,
I mean, Batman
movie,
riding a dinosaur is cool.
Yeah. Guys, greatest part of that movie, hands down, fucking Bane.
Really?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the sheer complexities of that character are just so deep. I mean, you can just dig into him and just find so many different meanings that relate to our modern day culture.
Wait, is that sarcasm? I'm sorry, I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Nicola, we're talking about Batman and Robin. Of course it is.
Okay, good.
Anyway, let's try to make serious points. Someone was talking about something before a Batman and Robin joke started.
Yeah, I was just trying to point out that that version of Mr. Freeze took a change that was made to the character, not in that film, but that was made to the character, and then didn't do anything with it. It was change for the sake of change.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not a great example, mind you. I'm still trying to think of other better examples. Oh, God.
Let's see here. What about Psycho, 98?
Well, there's another good example of taking there's a good example of taking the original source material, making no changes to it beyond all visual aesthetic things. I would agree with you.
No, I mean, it didn't even make visual aesthetic changes except for putting it in color. That is the only thing that... They remade that movie shot for shot and put it in color.
That's funny.
Wasn't it set in present day?
I don't believe so.
Well, how about Bates Motel? How about Bates Motel?
That's such a bad idea for a series.
Has any...
I don't think we need incest on television. I really don't.
Well, did you see it yet?
Of all the things that modern television's doing, I don't think incest is one of them that should be happening.
Yeah, no, but to be, I hate to stray from the point, but to be honest, TV shows have been kind of getting into that. Even Dexter has been kind of getting at that.
Really?
Yeah,
When's Dexter
okay.
been getting into incest?
Well, it's not incest, but, okay, his sister is, his foster sister, and she's in love with him.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring you were talking about. But yeah, I'm talking about, actual, brother-sister incest is slightly more acceptable because it used to happen regularly than mother-son incest.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's where you came from. Come on.
Yeah, you don't want to go back there.
Is that actually what's going on in Bates Motel? I haven't seen any of it yet.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean seriously, there's a trailer where it says there's a boy, it's got text and goes, a boy with a loving mother, and it cuts to them pushed up against a wall making out.
Oh
way.
So and the storyline is they went to that town and they opened up the motel to get away from judgment.
Really?
No, but I don't think that's a bad. I mean, I get your point, but the show itself, you see, it's not really making any changes to the character. It's except for setting it in present day. And I suppose there's another point we could get into debating whether or not that's a good idea. But just the idea of giving us background for Norman Bates, I don't think that's a terrible idea. I'm not sure if we need it, but...
Well, it's not background for Norman Bates because it's put in modern day.
No, that's true.
It's such a weird premise.
Is it just the guy that happens to be Norman Bates, or
No, it's like they're planning to remake Psycho as the end of this series. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. I'm trying to think. There's another show like it that I could point to as an example. Smallville.
No idea.
Bates Motel is basically...
So the only one I can really think of is Bates Motel, and I didn't know that about it.
Is anyone else getting that weird guilt feedback?
Yeah, I'm skipping. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I'm skipping really bad. I couldn't hear you guys for a good 20 seconds.
What were you saying about Smallville, Bill?
No, I was saying that Bates Motel is basically Smallville for Norman Bates.
Oh, I didn't even get that.
Yeah, you said Smallville. It sounded like you said, maybe it was the word Bates, but it sounded like you said Bates Motel is based off Smallville.
Yes, Norman Bates is in the same universe as Superman.
I wouldn't, as far as Smallville goes, I wouldn't put it past those writers.
No, fair enough. But like, I'm just saying, it's almost like you take Smallville and you're basically remaking Superman. That's kind of how Bates Motel, I suppose, is supposed to work. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think that's a terrible idea. Then again, Smallville isn't a terrible idea either, doing background for Superman like that. But again, we're not so much, and I suppose we are touching on execution here. And it's funny that we keep like elaborating on things we haven't seen.
Yeah, right.
I've seen 98, Psycho 98. What is it about things with 98 in them that makes it so bad?
98 was a terrible year for movies.
Really? What movie in 98 was so bad for you, Bill?
I'm not Dragonheart.
Really? Dragonheart's good.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Dude, Sean fucking Connery, man.
It's not that good, Ian.
Bill, I don't think you understand. You are going to mention this movie, otherwise we are not moving on from this
Now,
point.
here's the thing. I don't even think Dragonheart came out in 1998. I'm just trying not to say what Ian wants me to say.
No, you will say it, or I will drop you from the call.
Go ahead and do it. Then you won't have a co-host.
You're not a co-host. You're a long-term guest. That's not
You're a parasite.
Hey, don't quote from my own shit.
No, I was quoting Bioshock.
Oh, wait, you haven't read that script yet. Never mind. Anyway, so we were trying to make a point. Alright, here's the thing. Let's try and get off, like, stuff that we haven't seen. So, let me ask you guys this. We mentioned this before we started recording. How would you guys feel about, like, I know you guys are not James Bond fans at all, but, take any character for that matter. I've even heard people say they want to do this with Superman. Making, like, James Bond or Superman or Batman black, or African American, or any other race beside what they were conceived as.
With James Bond, right now, I wouldn't mind, just because Idris Elba is an amazing actor. Watch Luther if you haven't. Bill, watch Luther.
I've seen it. No, I haven't seen the show.
Oh, really?
No, I haven't seen the show. I've seen and I was very intrigued.
No, say that again, because you cut out again.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry. I've seen the show's poster, not the show. I know what the show is.
Okay. Yeah, Luther's fantastic. So just because that is such a great actor, and Bond's such a fit-all role for me, at least.
You see, here's the thing. Not in this continuity, because...
Well, no, I'm not, but that's the thing, Bill. Your arguments for, the Bond face change thing is that it's, in the original stuff from Connery forward, it was, like, the same continuity, they just changed actors, and then with Craig, it's this new continuity. If you're gonna just change continuity, why not just keep changing continuity every time you change actors?
Well, you kind of do that. I mean, in the old series, all that you were changing was where things in time take place. And I actually...
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you're gonna, like, they're gonna have to address it directly this time. And
well, I actually agree.
you have to go with either you have to go with the codename theory, or you just have to say, yeah, we're going in different continuity.
No,
Either way, I'd like to see it just because James Bond's a catch-all role.
Here's the thing. In this continuity, I think that they would be best suited to reboot. And here's the thing. It has nothing to do with the codename theory.
No, I'm saying you could either embrace the codename theory, or you could reboot. It could go either way.
I say rebooting is a better idea, and here's why. Unfortunately, when you change someone's race, you do change how most people perceive that person. And you kind of change where that person can exist background-wise.
Yeah, so...
Idris Elba as James Bond really couldn't have grown up in a traditional home in Scotland.
Yeah, I could imagine. What would be the motive for making him black? If he had to be black?
This is another thing we can get into. The motive for... You see, I don't understand. I think... And Idris Elba has commented on this, because they are seriously considering casting him. he's commented on this. He doesn't want to be known as the Black Bond. And
Fair enough, but I mean, he's just...
He says, I don't want to be cast as him because, you don't look at Daniel Craig and call him the blue-eyed Bond. You don't look at Roger Moore and call him the blonde-haired Bond. You don't look at Pierce Brosnan and call him the Irish Bond. They all played the character. And he said, I don't just want to be cast because making James Bond black would be a statement. I don't think that's...
And I think Will Smith said something very similar.
Sorry, go ahead.
Will Smith said something similar about Superman. They were talking about casting him in one of the Superman... One of those like, I'm pretty sure WB just has a dumpster dedicated to rejected Superman scripts.
Oh,
Will
absolutely.
Smith was consulted about playing Superman. That's how he eventually got Hancock.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't want to do Superman because he didn't want to be the black Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
So, honestly, though, I would love to see Superman... Or I would love to see Will Smith play Superman of Earth 23. President Superman.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And
I doubt we'll get it, but it'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, we'll probably never get Superman of Earth 23 on screen, but I don't know. I feel like in some points you're making these casting changes just because you want to attract a new audience for the character. Like if you make James Bond or Superman or Batman black, people will go see that movie.
Yeah,
just out of curiosity.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like,
and I
just
don't
do
think
this. In what context, Bill? In what context would making James Bond black work?
If they rebooted, they did a new James Bond continuity where that was a distinct part of his background. And I'm not saying you have to give James Bond an origin movie again. You just have to give him a continuity where it's like you would basically have to have James Bond grow up in like central London, where that would make sense. Yeah, I think again, it really.
No, I'm talking story-wise. What could you do in a James Bond story that would make him being black a really interesting dynamic?
Well, I don't think you would have to. If we're just specifically talking about Idris Elba, I think he's got the James Bond personality down. I just don't think that a drastic casting choice like that is a good idea. Making him black, I suppose you could pull a race card there and do like some kind of genocide thing. I don't know. At that point, I would say it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I say if you're gonna do it, don't draw attention to it.
Okay, fair enough. For me, the more iconic the character is, like, you can get away with Watson, and it's still interesting, but it's not as big a deal.
Exactly.
But if you're gonna put Black Superman on screen, you need to make that a major thing of the character, because otherwise you just did it to sell tickets, and it's automatically not as interesting.
Well,
I agree.
Black Spider-Man, or they're doing Black...
Well, no, because Peter Parker is an iconic, and Spider-Man is.
Well, Miles Morales is not... Here's the thing. There's a difference between making Peter Parker black and making Spider-Man black.
Well, no, I was talking about Donald Glover. Donald Glover's the guy's name. He's a great comedian. He was, like... Someone on Twitter asked him, hey, would you like to play Peter Parker, or would you like to play Spider-Man? He goes, fuck yeah, Black Spider-Man. And then it just exploded, and people were like, oh my god, Donald Glover wants to play Spider-Man in the Amazing Spider-Man reboot. And, like, he was like, oh, well, yeah, sure, I'll keep this going. And then, like, movie studios actually talked to him about it and everything. And I was totally cool with it, because when you think of Spider-Man, you don't think of Peter Parker. You think of, the guy in the mask, right? So that could work.
I don't agree. I don't really agree at all. I think that the same. Would you make the same argument for Batman?
No, because when you think of Batman, it's a very iconic image of the like cowl and the chin and everything.
Yeah, but
like the skin is an iconic part of that.
Yeah,
costume.
but what about when Spider-Man gets part of his mask blown off?
Well, that's not the iconic image I think of when I think of Spider-Man. Like here. Right now, Spider-Man, what's the exact image that comes to mind for you?
It's classic Spider-Man, but I still think Peter Parker is like the archetypical comic book character right next to Clark Kent.
No, I disagree. I don't. maybe, but not from a visual standpoint.
I disagree. I think that he is...
No, let me ask you this then. And Nicola, you can throw in your 2 cents here, too.
Yeah.
Bill, when you think of Peter Parker, what's the visual image that comes up?
The first panel of Amazing Fantasy number 15.
Okay, Nicola?
Yeah, and actually almost the same exact thing, where you see this nerdy boy, and they're describing how he's always picked on.
Okay, for me, it's the design they used for him in the cartoon from the 90s. Those are 2 radically different visual looks for the character. Would you agree?
Not really, because it's just a clothing change and a little bit of an update from the 60s.
No, but I mean, it's still fairly different, whereas with Clark Kent, you either have this guy that's kind of fumbling around in a suit, or you have a farm boy, depending on his location. With Peter Parker, there's a lot done with that character visually. Just the Peter Parker side of things. Now, so in the 2001 movie, he's suddenly, physically stronger after the spider bite, whereas in other movies, you don't really ever see Peter Parker with his shirt off or anything like that. In Amazing Spider-Man, he's not just this, Poindexter glasses kind of pocket protector nerd. He's this weird, he's a social introvert, and he's a skateboarder, too. That's never been done with the character, but it totally worked.
I would agree.
So,
but again, that's the visual thing.
I think Donald Glover could have pulled off being Peter Parker, and his acting as Spider-Man, given his great background in comedy, would have come through in a great way.
I'm not saying it wouldn't have, but I still think that it would have been a change that Spider-Man fans wouldn't have agreed with. I do think Peter Parker is a very iconic character without the Spider-Man costume on. I mean, I think that he's obviously defined by that costume, but I still think that the Peter Parker side of things is still a very iconic image. It's just an iconic image that keeps getting updated for the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that it's something where it's easier to update than, say, Clark Kent. When you look at Clark Kent and you look at those 2 opposing things you mentioned, not really a lot of updating there necessary. I mean, one thing is you see the hat less and less as you go up in time, because you don't really see reporters wearing those kind of fedoras anymore. But
yeah, but that's a different thing. I'm talking about, there's a radical change between Poindexter plaid shirt nerd and Andrew Garfield wearing a hoodie and walking around with a skateboard. There's a radical change.
I think they achieved the same exact thing. If those Poindexters don't really exist anymore, at least in your modern American society, and that's what they were trying to go for with every interpretation of Spider-Man. You're trying to get your everyday American teenager who's not really all that popular, and they did that with the 60s, and it works for the 60s, and I think Andrew Garfield's works for the modern era, and it achieves the same exact message, it's just updated for the time.
Okay, and let me put this out there. One of my favorite Donald Glover jokes was, and I'm going to screw this up because it's been too long since I heard it. See, I had a hard time growing up because I was a black nerd, and that shit was illegal till, 2003. You couldn't be black and nerdy, and, people told me, oh, yes, there were black nerds. What about Urkel? Urkel was retarded, okay? I mean, you had this weird kid spending all this time in his room. He likes cheese. He's always asking this girl next door to marry him. That's just a sad situation at the Urkel household. His brother hit him in the head with a shovel when he was very young. Sorry, I really like that.
That is a really
anyway.
funny joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, he had that, he actually was a nerd, whereas Andrew Garfield, look at that dude. Look at that dude got laid. Come on.
No, I don't
Andrew
agree.
Garfield,
I think that is
Andrew
the modern
Garfield
nerd.
No, Andrew Garfield was clearly didn't grow up being a nerd.
I disagree. I think that there's different modern versions of nerd. Nerd is really just the guy in the corner wearing glasses, and he doesn't wear glasses, mind you, but he wears contacts. Who doesn't, he raises his hand in class, but he doesn't really communicate with the classmates. When he gets out of school, he just goes home and does things with his family. I think that he very much so encapsulates the modern version of a nerd.
And, I'm sorry, to elaborate on that, oh my gosh, the name of the series totally escapes me, but I believe that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man reflects the newest or at least one of the newest Spider-Man comic series, where he was. That's what?
Ultimate?
Yeah, that's it, Ultimate. Where he wasn't necessarily a nerd, he was just a social introvert that just had a lot of family problems and girl problems, and it was kind of just, as Billy has pointed out before, just reflect the typical American teenager with less than average social skills.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna stick by Donald Glover being him because, for me personally, that's the thing that as soon as I heard that, I was perfectly okay with that. Where I wasn't with the idea of Will Smith playing Superman, because to me, I don't think of Peter Parker as visually iconic like I do of Superman as visually iconic.
But I don't even think it matters at that point. I don't know if I agree with you. I think that changing an iconic character in that way can be seen as even worse bastardization in that regard. But even just being as a movie producer, as a writer, working with source material regardless of popularity or being iconic, doing something like that I don't think is okay. And just doing it for the sake of doing it. So
no, I think Glover could have brought something very interesting to the role. Not that I didn't like Garfield, but like I said, like I keep saying, my biggest problem with the Amazing Spider-Man is it kind of feels too much like the Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi films.
Really?
I kind of agree.
There's enough to distinguish them, but for the first time I saw it, I was like, there's not that much very different.
Well, I think that's just because it came out too soon.
Maybe, but still, that's just my general opinion.
I was thinking about it when we walked out of that movie, Nicola. 5 years ago, we were walking out of seeing Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
I think they should have held their breath, if nothing more than just to build excitement. I mean, we want Spider-Man 10 years. Imagine in 2017, 10 years later, we want a new Spider-Man on screen.
Yeah, and fair enough. But I'm just saying, I think that movie needed to do more to distinguish itself from the Raimi and Maguire film. I think Donald Glover could have done it.
I don't think changing the character's race would have been enough, or even his personality. I think what they needed to do was not worry about the origin, and just tell Spider-Man stories that the Sam Raimi films never touched on, and they tried to, and they didn't succeed. They were trying to do the stuff with this, and here's the thing, they took the exact tack that I would have taken if I was doing it. They never mentioned Peter's parents in that trilogy. Yeah, focus on his parents. Tell that Spider-Man story that's been told in the comics, adapt it, and rework it for your own needs. Great idea. They don't touch on it really at all. It's used as a conceit to get Peter into that room with the spiders. And yeah. I don't think that was...
It is looking like that's going to be the third... It's like, let's say that the new Amazing Spider-Man is going to be 3 movies.
It is, actually.
It looks like this... Oh, it is? Okay. It looks like this plot is at least going to carry over well into the second, or possibly into the major plot of the third.
From what Mark Webb is saying, he's not wrapping it up till the end of the end.
Okay, that's cool then. I'm fine with that.
I'm not.
But anyway, I feel we kind of Bill, do you have anything else you want to say about Amazing Spider-Man? That's fine. You can wrap up in just a second here. But after you're done with that, we're gonna have a Skype in from Blue Dragon 5. Okay.
Sure. I just wanted to say. I don't have much to say. I just want to wrap up. I love The Amazing Spider-Man a lot. I like it way better than Spider-Man 1 and 3. But I agree with Ian. I think it came out too soon. I think they shouldn't have worried about the origin. But that's kind of besides the point we're getting at, so let's get back to the topic.
Yeah, sure. And I'm going to have Blue Dragon 5 come in for the Skype call. See, this is the audio. Hey.
Hello.
There?
Yes.
Hey.
Hello.
Everybody, Dragon 5 wants to Skype in, so what you got, man?
Greetings, gentlemen. I was thinking about the topic at hand tonight.
And lady.
Lady? Oh, hey, lady!
Hello. Yes, I'm just lady.
You don't get a name.
Thanks.
You have to earn your name on Geeky Gentleman.
Oh, okay.
Holy shit, Bill! Bill, I haven't insulted her yet. Fuck!
Oh, well, Ian, that's kind of my job.
Oh my god, no. I don't need
No. Okay, Blue Dragon 5, go on with your Skype in.
Okay. I was mulling over the concept of a reboot as a whole. Basically to give new life to a character, new ideas, new concept, a new zeal to them. The evidence being the Nolan films, the New 52, Amazing Spider-Man, Red Dragon, or, as an animation example, The Batman. A key thing, I think, to remember about reboots is rebooting a character is to keep the core concept, essence, and heart of that character when reinterpreting them. So you can still have the just same feelings that kid who's like reading or watching them like 1939, 1966, 1989, 1992, or 2005. You just get that, there's that zest in you saying a new interpretation of that character, just capture the spirit and the excitement or the just the happiness of seeing that character, or just interpreting that character. My question for the Geeky Gentleman and guest is if you were to reboot any character, who would it be, how would you do it, and most importantly, why? Why is it needed?
Huh.
Bill, you go first, because I need to think.
So
Gamera.
Gamera?
Really? God, I was so sure I knew where you were going. Okay.
No,
Elaborate.
definitely Gamera.
Ow.
I did not like the 2006 movie Gamera the Brave at all. It tried to breathe some new life into Gamera after Godzilla had taken his long stride off into the horizon, but Gamera needs a more interesting film than just doing the son of Gamera with a little kid running around screaming Gamera's name. What I would do is take it back to the 1996, or was it 90? I don't know. I think it was 1995. Gamera Guardian of the Universe. And The Brave does that a little bit. It keeps the whole superhero Gamera thing active. I think that's where Gamera is best fit. When he's ripping off Godzilla, it's not very interesting. I think he's best as a giant monster superhero. And the Heisei Gamera trilogy really nailed bringing that to screen and turning Gamera into a very interesting character. The culmination of that being Gamera Revenge of Iris. I think if an American company took the concept of Gamera and then did a total Avengers spin on it, turn it into this popcorn fun, with still some deep aspects about it characterization-wise, I think something really fun and really great could be made out of it, and I think that there's a place for Gamera in our modern age, especially with a lot of dark monster movies coming out. I think that there's definitely a place for the still kind of dark, but still more of like Avengers, popcorn, Star Wars-esque kind of high fantasy-oriented stuff with Gamera. So I would reboot Gamera.
Okay. For me, I'm gonna say Sonic the Hedgehog. And I know he hasn't had a movie, but they've been trying to do so much with the games. Okay, anyway.
Poor Simba.
Yes. Anyway, Bill, here's the thing. When you get up, mute your damn microphone. Anyway, not necessarily with the games, though I have a couple ideas of things they should be doing in the games. Like, I still don't know why there hasn't been a Sonic the Hedgehog game level where you're running on top of a train. That would just be cool.
Like the Wolverine trailer.
I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But anyway, in a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and I outlined this a while ago, it's a weird concept, but I think it's the only way that it can work on film, is you make it about teenagers and kids that are just out of high school, alright? And you set it 10 to 15 years in the future from right now, where Japanese and Chinese pop culture influence has done to America what American influence has done to them. All right, you got Japanese kids running around saying "mudu" when they mean mood right now, and you're starting to see that bleed over. If you want evidence of that, look into this song. I can't remember the name of the band, which is kind of funny because the song is "That's Not My Name." I'll watch the music video for that. It is just incredibly Japanese, just this blonde white.
Oh wait, the Ting Tings. I don't know how to know it. It's the...
Yes, I like that song too. Man, you look at cultures bleeding over, and I think that's really interesting. And I think that's something Sonic could capitalize on. So you have all these teenagers and kids just out of high school who are highly influenced by Japanese culture and dress. And so they're wearing all these really weird clothes. Like, I think my Sonic hoodie, or my Sonic, cosplay that I did, that's something that could believably be worn by somebody day to day. I think the Tails thing, what you do is you'd have a kid, this is something that's in. People are wearing animal tails, like wolf and...
Yeah, it actually is true.
Yeah, so if you have a kid wearing, like, 2 of those, that's a Japanese influence thing. So you have all these kids who have these weird sense in fashion, and they're all into parkour, and you make Robotnik, you make the guy that's Robotnik the CEO of Robot Inc.
Yep.
And he's got all these factories, and they like the kids, like, running around through them and fucking shit up. And that's your premise for the movie. You do whatever with the story beyond that point, but I think that's a really interesting way to use the character, because you still get what the character's about, the attitude, the fun, and you can get the environmentalism message through that way, but you can also have a lot of fun with it and do some really cool stuff. And I would have the movie end with the main character, in the Sonic thing, his nickname Sonic, that's not his actual name, in the Sonic outfit, running, and he actually runs through a loop-de-loop. I think it would be awesome. Just to see a human being do that.
I can almost see that with the same visuals as Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Yes! Exactly.
That's how how I'm picturing that right now, so I can actually see that happening.
Cool. Anyway, what do you got, Nicola?
I was thinking of anything, a new modern take of Harley Quinzel, and the Joker. I think that Paul Dini was the one that created Harley Quinn.
He was.
Indeed.
He was. And although it was there to kind of emphasize the whole beaten wife syndrome thing, I'd like to see her actually have a more powerful role, like almost have, how do I say this, a bigger conscience, because she just seems to be more of Joker's puppet without any repercussions, if that makes sense. Like, she just mindlessly does what he's told, and I'd like to see her actually fight back in some cases. And I know that there's some stuff in the Suicide Squad with the New 52, but she kind of reverts back to her own ways, but I'd just like to see that happen, to be honest.
As a Harley fan, I think I've said this a couple times, but I don't know if I've said it on video. The quintessential, get it, Quint?
Well
Harley
done.
Quinn
Well done.
was in the Superman Batman animated series movies, World's Finest.
Oh yeah.
Where it's right towards the end of the movie. Joker's in this jet that's falling down. Superman has got Lex Luthor out. Batman has got Harley Quinn out. And as Harley and Batman are falling to the ocean in a parachute and watching the jet go down, Harley looks at Batman and she goes, "Do you think he survived?" And Batman says, "Probably not." And she just starts crying.
No.
But like,
The line
literally-
is...
No. She says puddin', and then he goes,
At
"By
this point, he probably is."
okay. Well, anyways, like, she just
Damn
starts...
it, Batman, that's fucked up.
Yeah. Anyways, at that point, she just starts, like, bawling, but, like, not 5 minutes earlier, didn't Joker throw her out of the plane?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, he almost just killed her, but you still feel sorry for her. That's the perfect Harley Quinn moment, is when she's got this beaten wife syndrome. I don't think she's a character that works on her own, but people keep trying.
I'm a Harley Quinn fan myself. Have you ever read Batman Mad Love?
Yes.
Yes, Mad Love's
Definitely.
okay, but the episode's better.
That's funny, because that is done by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, and it was done to kind of elongate the episode, since some parts had to be cut out for obvious.
Yeah, but
Yes.
the thing is, they elongate it by making Joker more of a bitch, and that doesn't work. Because by making Joker a bitch, you make Harley Quinn less interesting.
But did you also notice in the beginning when she had to cheat to get her grades by
Yeah. Dumb.
sleep with her
Dumb.
professors?
Yeah, dumb. move with that. I don't know why they keep trying to make her character weaker and weaker.
I love her.
A really good Harley Quinn story that I have done. If you just plug this for myself and Nicola, you might want to check it out. Did you read the Joker's Asylum Harley Quinn thing?
The Joker's Asylum?
Yeah, it's a one shot. They've been doing these villain one shots where it's called Joker's Asylum, and it's just like these stories about the villains.
It's in volume 2.
They did one of Harley Quinn, and I did an audio comic of it, so you might want to watch that.
Yeah.
It's a really good audio comic. The girl I got to voice act her was amazing.
Oh, no.
She sounds exactly like the actual actress, in my opinion. So, anyway, Blue Dragon 5, did you have anything else you wanted to ask?
I could weigh in a little bit. I mean, I had an idea for a reboot.
Sure.
Well, one of them, Inspector Gadget.
That would be interesting.
No, we don't need Inspector Gadget on film. I'm going to come down on that.
No, not on film.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, if we do Inspector Gadget in a movie again, then the world will end unless it's just like this really fucked up, really just. That's what I want to see.
It's like The Animal by Jebediah Springsteen with Inspector Gadget.
Exactly.
How would you want it done?
That needs to be the next Jebediah Springsteen. It goes from The Animal to Inspector Gadget.
And then it'll be The Animal versus Inspector Gadget.
Oh, God.
Awesome! My two children began to fight. I was so proud.
I have enough love for all of you. Don't fight.
Anyway, go ahead, man.
Well, I was thinking if you approach Inspector Gadget a little more serious, a little more down to earth, but I mean, still make him like lovable, goofy, and bumbling like the original. But I'm saying like he's a cop he's an ex-cop who's looking for his identity, and that he doesn't really know that much about himself. Maybe the accident took away some memory, and like it's kind of, I want to say kind of Wolverine-ish, like he doesn't really know what happened to him. He just has these. Like the first season would be like, not getting to the whole series, I'm saying he would like discover his family and Penny, and she would kind of shed light on his life, and he would just be all plot of Dr. Claw. It'd be kind of more of like maybe like a melodrama thing, kind of, but it's a little more serious, but still cartoony. The guy's like, he's an eccentric character, like he's fun, like he doesn't know why.
Go on. What else would you do with like the character? Like what else would you do with the series as a whole to distinguish it? We don't want you to outline the episodes.
Well, I mean, the gadgets might be a little more modern, but not that modern, because then what's the point? Because you just one gadget.
Like, let me ask you this: does he have just like this infinite? Does he have
Go Gadget toothpaste?
Yeah. Does he have a wormhole inside of his body cavity that allows him to have infinite storage? Or is it like an actual? Is it more RoboCop or is it more original Inspector Gadget?
The RoboCop version of Inspector Gadget would be so fucked up.
Oh,
Where he just gets obliterated by Red from fucking That 70s Show.
No, dude, I still want to like see if I can take footage from the original Inspector Gadget movie and like just put it into scenes from RoboCop.
No, just like really crappily photoshopped Matthew Broderick's head on what's his name?
No, like take the actual scenes of the Go Gadget toothpaste shit, and then like put it in the fight with Kane.
And the scene where he gets dismembered. You shouldn't smoke, Gadget. I don't smoke. He lights the little cigar dynamite thing, throws it, and then wakes up like RoboCop.
Anyway, go on. What else? Like what's the overarching change you would make for Inspector Gadget? Is it more grounded? What's going on?
It's more grounded, more to be taken seriously. Like you feel for the character instead of just laughing at his antics. I mean, like it'd be kind of a Nolan humor to it. I mean, it's serious, but it has
so
like
you want the new TMNT series as an IDW series with Inspector Gadget.
A little bit of Ghostbusters thrown in there, yeah.
Okay. All right, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't watch it, but there's people that would that have major psychological problems.
I had
Blue Dragon 5 is one of them. No, no, I think that's a legitimately interesting concept.
Nice.
All right.
I had.
Thanks, Skype in, man. We got another one, so I'm gonna call him. Thanks, Blue.
It's been a pleasure, Miss Pyro. Hope to see you in more videos.
Alright, thanks. You too. See you.
Take care.
Oh, whoops. My bad.
That was awkward. You're just like, bye.
Well, I was like, he was like, yeah, see ya. Take care. Like, why do you guys exchange goodbyes for so long? We have Magpie calling again. Man, this is starting to take off. We can get a couple more people. That'd be awesome, huh?
Yeah.
Damn. How long are these normally? I've watched your My Little Pony one, and that one was entertaining.
That one got so weird. These are usually an hour and a half long. Hey, Magpie, can you put in headphones, man?
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. Inspector Gadget. Dude, I just want to see Inspector Gadget fighting Kane now. That needs to happen. That needs to be a thing, Bill.
Yeah, I know, it does need to happen, I agree. We're gonna film it. We're gonna have Milan as Inspector Gadget.
Oh god.
Ian's gonna be Dr. Claw, and I'll be Brain. No.
Let me see. Let me practice my claw. Next time, Gadget. Next time.
And Simba can be that one guy's cat. Fuck, the main villain's cat.
Yeah, Dr. Claw's cat. Yeah, that can be Simba.
Meow. Meow.
And he never shuts up.
He just interrupts him the whole time.
Alright, Magpie, what you got for us?
As far as reboots go, I'm interested in seeing a couple of reboots. The Rocketeer, The Phantom, another movie which was not very successful, called Condor Man, one of my favorite movies of all time. So I was just wondering, what other movies that didn't do so well would you be interested in seeing reboots of?
Okay, So we haven't really talked about this, and I mean, we're talking about more character reboots, but this is still relevant.
Yeah, I would agree.
We talked about movies that, like, how we would do reboots, but just name some characters that you guys would like to see rebooted it on film.
The Transformers.
Fair enough.
With a more focus on them as characters and not just as them as big guns.
Fair enough. Nicola, you got anything?
I was actually going to say Transformers myself. Weirdly enough, because I was
because Nicola's just Bill doing a girl voice. That's all it comes down to.
I actually had a conversation with my friend about this earlier. I was like, wow, I wonder if people would actually start taking Transformers seriously if there was a whole different actor to it. You know? Like, people wouldn't just think explosions because of how Michael Bay portrayed them.
Yes, I would agree with that.
I don't know, like, we're getting reboots of all the characters I want to see that have already had movies. We're getting a Superman reboot. We're getting, we're either getting new movies with these characters for the first time, or we're getting Punisher. And I don't even want a reboot. I just want to go back to the Thomas Jane continuity, please.
Yeah, we are getting a Punisher reboot, so.
Yeah, is it Thomas Jane?
No.
That's disappointing.
We're getting kind of a Conan. I don't know why, but you just reminded me of this because you mentioned, like, going back to an older continuity. After they tried to reboot it again. They tried to do that with Conan, and it was a...
So what they're doing, is Arnold coming back?
He sure is.
That'll be weird.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my god.
That's a terrible idea.
Did you guys see the Dirty Laundry short?
I'm familiar with it, yes.
Yeah, but have you seen it or no?
No, I haven't seen it.
Then what the fuck are you doing talking to me? Leave now. Go watch it.
Sorry, Ian.
No, like, it is so damn good. Thomas Jane was so good as the Punisher, and people were like, oh, it was too violent. It wasn't! Oh, he, like, changed the origin too much. They made it worse! And they actually tied it in with the villain they used. They're like, oh, John Travolta was weird. He was amazing! What is people's problems with this movie? It was so good!
Yeah, people implanted a drug into all the theaters which were showing it, and it just made them think, you will not like this movie.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, Thomas Jane's Punisher was so well... It is still one of my favorite superhero movies. It just gets so much right, and the theme was awesome. Let me put it this way. The only thing bad about Dirty Laundry, my bad. There are only two things wrong with Dirty Laundry. One, they took the score from the Nolan Batman movies, and two, it's not long enough.
They use like Nolan's Batman theme.
Yeah, it's weird.
That's bizarre. I can't imagine that for anything but Batman.
I don't know. I've seen people use it for fan film action movies. But yeah, it was. I'm just like, what? Why would you do that? The score was for the original was so cool. But anyway, yes, Thomas Jane made a fan film where he played the Punisher again. What is not awesome? And what's his face was in it too? Ron Perlman.
Oh, really?
Ron Perlman and Thomas Jane were in, I think, a 10 or an 8-minute fan film.
That's pretty.
What?
If they never make Hellboy 3, I think Ron Perlman should make a Hellboy fan film because it's looking like it's never gonna happen.
I don't know. I didn't like Hellboy. Though Ron Perlman's a cool guy. So yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see them go back to the Punisher franchise that we got started in 2004. I'm stretching for stuff because, like I said, all the movies I want to see are getting made, or they're with characters that I want that haven't had a movie yet. All right, here we go. Catwoman. Cat.
I've never thought putting her in her own movie was a good idea.
I
don't know.
Batman or something in it. Like Batman as not only a supporting character, but just an overall major role.
I think Batman could just like come on screen and leave within like a 5-minute window.
No,
and you could actually do a pretty good movie with Catwoman. If you make it a cool heist film, yes, that would be awesome. Like that's the thing, they tried to make her a superhero. No, she's interesting as a thief. You make a Catwoman heist movie. That could be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I'd like to put a spin on the question that we have. How about reboots that shouldn't have happened?
So characters or films that we just think should die.
That shouldn't have even existed because not only has it tarnished the character's reputation, it's also made it that much more difficult to remaster it.
I have a very obvious example I could go to, but I'm not going to say it.
Of that, and I don't
say
need to go with
Say it!
No, I'm not going to say it. So Ian's is turning into the Joker. Say it!
Say it! Look!
No, Conan the Barbarian was terrible, so
I
that one.
I would say Battleship. That just shouldn't have even happened. That wasn't even based on any film. It was based on a board game. And it has aliens in it.
That's my arguments for why Transformers should never be. I literally do not think you can go plays the soul.
Ian, I can't hear you.
Yeah, you're cutting out for me too. I'm sorry.
I do not believe that you can go from toys to story successfully. I don't think Transformers is ever something that should have happened on film. Like, cartoon, whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's stuff for the Transformers that has legitimately good story. The thing is, if you're
I never enjoyed the cartoons, ever.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the cartoons. I'm talking about, like, comics. There's, the video games. There's just a lot of stuff. But Battleship, it's fucking Battleship.
I know.
I mean, like, you could have made Battleship good if you just made it a really awesome, intriguing naval movie. I mean, that's the thing, is there's this great World War II movie where all it was is some guys on a, like, warship, destroyer, and they were Americans, World War II, and there were some guys in a submarine. They were Nazis. And it was really fascinating and really interesting, and it, like, had terrible special effects, but it was so well written, it was amazing. You could do something like that and make Battleship good.
Yeah, but with Battleship, it's based on a board game, so it automatically has to be like this summer popcorn blockbuster.
Yeah, and Hasbro, it obviously just wanted another cash cow, not just Transformers.
And I'm actually really... I wish nothing but the best of luck to all filmmakers, but I'm glad that movie bombed.
Yeah.
There's actually a really hilarious 100% knockoff of Battleship on Netflix called Battleships. And everything about it's the same movie, just with worse effects.
Oh, awesome! I love those.
So it's
movies.
almost like
Have you seen
on a train.
Transmorphers?
What was that?
Snakes on a
Have you
train.
seen
No, it was
Have
Nicola,
you
was
seen
that-
Transmorphers?
Yes.
Or
I have seen Transmorphers. It's more of a Terminator ripoff than a Transformers ripoff.
what's the other one? What's the one about Terminators?
Oh, the Terminators?
Yeah, okay, that's it.
It's like, what the hell?
Oh.
Like, how did they not get sued?
Because.
The word "the" is in it, and it's plural.
What about snakes on a train?
Yeah, that's what I was.
The original Terminator is called the Terminator.
Yeah, but it's plural.
So I can make an
Completely different premise, Billy. It's not the same thing.
So can I make an Aliens movie that just has an apostrophe after the S?
Aliens.
Are the aliens possessing anything? Like, do the aliens have property?
No, you have to add "the" in front of it. You have to say "the."
The Aliens.
You just say,
Okay, Magpie, did you have anything else, man?
What would you guys think of a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen reboot with a completely different...
God, are we gonna start talking about Dragon Ball Z?
Yes, let's just turn this into a Dragon Ball Z right now. I think that's a great idea.
I like the original so much. I don't know. I suppose I haven't read the comic, or the original. I like the movie so much for some reason, and I don't know why because we didn't talk about it.
Ian, I haven't seen it in like 3 years. I'm glad we didn't do it.
Fair enough. But anyway, I like the movie enough that I don't necessarily need one, but I haven't read the comic. Obviously, it's Alan Moore. It's going to be good. So if they made it, beat for beat the comic with a little more character development to fill time, sure.
Yeah, I would think so.
I wish I had any input, but I have absolutely no idea.
Just say
Did you
something
never
random.
see
It usually works for the
Extraordinary
show.
Gentlemen?
I don't know, potatoes. I can't.
No, we're gonna sit here and everyone's gonna be quiet while you put inputs into this topic.
I'll look at it. I'll search it up on Wikipedia, and I'll just change a few names.
No, okay, we're kidding.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, I was serious. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't put it past you. No.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, Magpie, thanks for coming on, man. It was good to talk to you again.
No worries.
See ya. Oh, good. See, he hung up himself. That was so much more useful. Anyway. Alright, so that was fun. We seriously need more of these. These are cool.
Yeah.
Fun.
Guys,
Yeah,
get a Skype and
Nicola, as someone that's not been on the show and isn't as familiar with it as Bill led on, what do you think of the Skype-in concept?
It's pretty interesting. It was really like, it's almost like they throw curveballs at you and they really, how do I say this, pressure you into brainstorming as quickly as possible, which isn't a bad thing. I'm just wrecked, and that was, it's a good, how do I say this? It's probably healthy for my brain.
Oh, okay. Cool. Fun idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Need it. I probably need my brain to be kicked a lot.
Oh, no problem. If you want that, just listen to some of Milan's videos, and your brain will just, it won't be kicked. It'll kind of be violated.
Oh, okay.
Just if you're looking.
Psychological rapist.
See, I was trying to avoid the word rape, Bill.
Yeah.
There's this thing called subtlety.
Nah. Fuck it. That's all
You
I
know
have.
what we haven't done so far, Bill?
What?
We haven't insulted Milan.
Oh, okay, Ian. Let's crack down on this. Milan, whenever I look at you, I just thank God every single day that I am not Russian or Australian.
Milan, I was thinking about this the other night, and it occurred to me. You know those movies where the guy's like wishes that he was never born and the world turns out to be like a worse off place, you know, people are like poor or whatever. I think the world would objectively be better. Not only better, I think like, you know, there would be a utopia upon the earth without your existence.
Yeah, I think that there would be a utopian society entirely developed around your non-existence.
Mhm.
Like, somehow
Yeah.
they would know.
I gotta say something about Milan. Milan,
Sure.
you're a nice person. There.
No, Nicola, you have to insult him.
No,
You're not
No,
official
Bill,
geeky.
Bill.
the meanness.
No, Bill. Think about it. She's giving him false hope.
That's
I
the
don't
worst
want-
insult there is.
I don't want there to be a news article saying that the world's first Russian-Australian committed suicide from a show
Nicola,
on
this
YouTube.
is far from the worst we've ever grilled him.
Yeah.
We have crushed his hopes and dreams.
Oh no.
Like, we ate cake one day. It was
But
amazing.
he's completely defenseless right now because he doesn't even know we're talking about him.
He's used to it.
Gordon.
No, he's never been able to defend himself, even when he's right here. Has he ever had a clever comeback,
No,
Bill?
Ian, do you remember one of our first episodes he did? You really got him good at the end of one of the episodes, and you said,
Yeah,
you
that's-
have a week to get back to me, and he just called you a fucktard.
No, he called me no, it wasn't fucktard. What do you call me? You're an asshole, I believe it was. Oh yeah, no, it's like I closed the RoboCop video saying, you know, we'll talk about RoboCop. It'll be really interesting. I can talk about the social and political commentaries. Bill can talk about the monster movie aspects, and Milan, you can talk about being an ugliest, hideous freak that nobody loves. And then we started laughing, and then the video ended, and I came back the next week and I was like, okay, so the last video we said we'd be doing RoboCop, and I ended it with this, talking about how I can talk about the social and political context, Bill could talk about the monster movie aspects, and Milan could talk about being a hideous freak that nobody would ever love. Now, Milan, you had a week to come up with an insult. What is it? You're an asshole.
Aw.
And then
Really?
Ian just flipped. He's like, you are so weak.
Oh.
Yeah. That's the thing, I insulted his ability to insult me.
Yeah. Nicola, no. Just drop all your inhibitions. Insult Milan.
No, I don't.
Do it!
I don't want to do it.
Do it!
Actually, I mean, Bill, to be fair, I wouldn't encourage it because knowing him, he'll probably get off on it.
True. Yeah, okay, true. Nicola, don't do it, because... just don't do it.
Okay.
Anyway, so what were we talking about?
Before we got Magpie on, we was continuing to point out examples. Let me ask you guys this, since we haven't really discussed this yet. Can you guys think of an example where they made a radical change to the character and it really worked? And I think my perfect example is in fact one I pointed out earlier, and that's Gamera. I think Gamera origin was completely changed for the 90s series, and it turned him into a much more interesting character. Can you guys think of any examples such as that, where you take a character, you completely change them, and it actually makes the character better, or at least works?
Blade.
Oh, yeah, good point. Very good point, I agree.
Let's see here. Yeah, Blade. I believe that happened with, there's another comic character that happened with. I can't remember it off the top of my head, though. Shit. Oh, Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
We kind of already mentioned him, though.
Yeah, true.
I think it needs to be done with Man-Bat, for the love of God.
Oh, God, it doesn't need to be done with Man-Bat.
Man-Bat? What?
Yeah.
It's
You
a
don't know who
Batman villain.
Man-Bat
Imagine a
is?
werewolf. It's a Batman villain. Imagine a werewolf, except it's a gigantic bat that he turns into.
Freaking hilarious.
No, it's
actually
awesome,
pretty
is what it is.
freaking awesome when it's done right. It's just that nobody knows how to do it right.
So it's a man-sized bat.
No, it's like a werewolf, only it's a bat.
Michael, imagine the Wolfman if it was half bat, half man.
So then what would man-wolf be? Would that be a wolf that turns into a man?
Yes.
That could be an interesting concept. It's almost like
Well, it's called
Island
Man-Bat.
of Lost Souls thing right there.
Oh, well,
Technically,
yeah, that is
it's a
technically
werebat.
Island of the Lost Souls.
No, technically it's a werebat, but just Man-Bat sounds cooler because you have Batman. So.
Okay, I have a major problem with this. In the TV show The Batman, which I don't really care for, there's an episode where they first introduce Man-Bat. And this police detective who has been grilling Batman for the entire show goes up on the radio and says, put out a, what is it, is it
ETA?
Yeah, whatever. No, an APB. APB on Man-Bat. And they're like, Batman? And she's like, no, Man-Bat. I'm like, well, fucking explain the difference, lady. You don't just drop this name on these people without giving them prior knowledge.
Fair enough. Are you sure it was the very first time they saw him?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
For sure.
I don't know, I'm just looking around my room. Whose characters that
Nicola,
have been
you
changed?
didn't point out an example yet. How about you?
Fuck. Sorry, what was the question?
The question was where you rebooted a character, you reworked them, and you changed something, and it actually really worked for the character.
Radically changed something.
Radically. That's the thing. I was thinking along the lines of comic book characters, but comic book characters kind of have a slow transition, and they kind of reflect the society at that time. So I don't know.
Grant Morrison did it with Animal Man. Like, what are there's those weird characters that, like, you know, no one ever thinks of them, and like one writer just grew up loving this character, and then he was able to get his hands on it because who the fuck cares about him?
It's like Iron Man. That's basically Iron Man.
I was actually going to say, they kind of did that with Iron Man in the movies. I mean, Tony Stark, not that interesting in the early comics.
Not at all. And I hate to admit this, but I really didn't know much about Iron Man before the movies.
Oh, me neither.
I knew he existed.
Me neither. My familiarity with him came from the cartoon show.
Yeah, me too, basically. And I remember reading this one comic where he existed. And I hate admitting this, but I kind of thought that he was almost like the Rocketeer.
Not far off, actually.
I don't know. Iron Man, they took stuff, like, from the best of the Iron Man stories, though.
Tony Stark is still Tony Stark, but I mean in the whole sarcasm, like, nearly man-child kind of thing. Like, Tony Stark in the comics is not really a man-child. Robert Downey Jr.'s is.
Fair enough. Okay.
And on top of that, they made him, like, really lovable. Like, lovable in the fact that, like, he's almost like an alpha male in the sense that he can almost dominate every conversation. He can dominate anyone physically because he's so strong, and he's really a reflection of what every guy or what every person wants to be in modern society, as opposed to
every man wants to be him. Every woman wants to be
every woman wants to be in an iron suit and beating the shit out of people. Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Really? That's the new idea.
Well, for Nicola it is.
So
it is.
Yeah, to wear an Iron Man armor.
And Nicola, would you use Pepper Potts' Iron Man armor, or would you make up your own?
It was an actual comic that Pepper Potts had an Iron Man suit, but not necessarily the Iron Man part of it, but just the fact that he owned such a large corporation and he was just such a powerful figure on his own without the whole superhero part aside. He was just being a powerful figure. And
okay, tangent time.
Big man in a suit of armor. Take that away. What are you?
Shut up, tangent time. Because I was watching a documentary about bionics used as prosthetics for people. Not bionics. Idiot. Prosthetics used for people with like paraplegics. Using exoskeletons, right? And it occurred to me, why the fuck does Tony Stark care about clean energy? Why is that what he's focused on? Why isn't he helping people walk?
That's fair.
That's kind of fucked up in the movies.
Isn't he a weapons manufacturer?
Well, he was.
Yeah, no, I mean, in Avengers, he's all concerned with clean energy. But, like, dude, you invented an exoskeleton that can, like, lift buildings and shit, and you're not, like, making tinier, less scaled versions to help people walk? The fuck?
Well,
fairness to Tony Stark's character.
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied, but he's a selfish douche. So I wouldn't be surprised that he's not that
No, but I mean, if they're gonna have him, like, helping the world, why isn't he doing that? That's like, that should be the thing he does first, before trying to create clean energy.
But again, the same thing for
Well,
Batman.
he does hint in Avengers that he does help out at charities, but I guess he doesn't really want to manufacture anything for poor people or whatever on his own.
No, it's just like that occurred to me today, like, because there's this great bit in the documentary where they had this lower body exoskeleton on a woman who hadn't walked in 18 years, and she was able to, it took a couple tries, she had to, learn to walk again, but she was able to walk across the room.
Well,
that was really cool, and like, why hasn't he done that? Why?
Are you asking if, like, he would give out Iron Man suits to...
No, I'm not talking like full-blown Iron Man suits, but if he's able to create an exoskeleton that can run on really simple, like he created an exoskeleton that could run on the equivalent of a car battery.
Uh-huh.
Why didn't he?
Well, that wasn't the exoskeleton. That was just the thing that was keeping the shrapnel from his heart.
Well,
no, but I mean, like the shrapnel thing was enough. Like, what did he say? The battery he made, the very first model of the battery, the arc reactor that he made, was able to power his heart for 50 years. So it was obviously more powerful than the car battery. But that's what I'm saying is that the Iron Man the Mach 1 armor could have run on something much lower than the piece of technologies, or than the energy producers that he has to worry about other people getting his hands on. Does that make sense?
That's actually insinuated in the comics that he's pretty freaking paranoid about people possibly taking apart his technology and figuring out what he does to, even if it's something like, let's say, legs that the Iron Man is using, like the robotic legs.
I mean, the thing is, in the movies at least, I'm talking about in the movies. I'm because there's so much with comics that it's hard to argue comics because there's always going to be that one issue that can contradict your point.
Yeah. Here's the thing, like, I just think that anything involving Tony Stark oh my god, I'm still saying that. Tony Stark in the comics is almost as, in the movies, as insinuated by the comics, Because he does say...
I'm talking about in the movies, though. Like, why isn't that the thing he's doing in Avengers to help the world?
I agree with you. I honestly think it's just because it didn't occur to the writers, also because it's a major part of the plot. I agree with you. But I think that Nicola's point also holds water in the movies as well, given the plot of Iron Man 2.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, like, the armor... If he's not powering an entire exoskeleton plus weapon system, then he doesn't need as much power, right? So the idea of creating exoskeletons for the paraplegic that work with just the legs should be something he's looking into.
I agree. I still think that I don't know. It's more of just an amusing kind of thing to poke fun at more than a criticism.
I'm not saying it's a major criticism of the character. It's like one of those things that occurred to me. It's like when I was watching the episode of the episodes of the Justice League show when they go back to World War II. It just occurred to me, no one goes and checks on the Holocaust. Superman does not make sure Dachau isn't happening. That's kind of fucked up. You know the episodes I'm talking about, though?
Yes, no, I know your point. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, it's just one of those weird things of like someone didn't think this plot all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
That's what Iron Man 3 needs. It just needs a scene with him, at a hospital giving a kid some bionic legs.
Well, he is going to be in a hospital in the movie. I don't know if that's going to be the point.
Maybe. No. I haven't seen the trailers.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
dude, it looks awesome.
Well, I'm sure it is, but that's the thing. I try to avoid the trailers for superhero movies.
Really?
Yeah.
I tend to enjoy the movie more.
I don't know. I've been enjoying all the most recent ones. The Wolverine looks great. Iron Man 3 looks awesome. See, I was not that excited for Iron Man 3 because I honestly think after Avengers we should have had a year of no Marvel content on film.
I disagree with that.
Well, would it have happened?
At least with those characters, I could see it. Maybe those characters aren't around for a year, but I wouldn't want a year without.
I would have wanted to see Ant-Man before I see Iron Man 3.
Fair enough.
Because Iron Man 3 is the start of Phase 2, so, but I don't know, I was not impressed with the first trailer for Iron Man 3, the second trailer knocked it out of the park.
That's funny, because I've been actually holding off on the trailers as well.
Fair enough. Well, actually, there's something that's worth discussing to get us back on topic, since Nicola apparently doesn't realize that we embrace the tangent here on Super.
Here on Sid Parr's 2's channel, we embrace.
I'm not angry about it or anything. I just thought it was funny. I went.
Oh, actually, Nicola, since you're a guest, I'm trying to get this together so I can eventually create an audio clip of all this. Would you please say here on Sid Part 2's channel, we embrace the tangent?
You want me to say that?
Yes.
Say it in your just like most epic game show announcer voice.
I don't have any.
Well, create one.
Oh my god, you're okay. But why do you want me to do this?
Because, like I said, every time we have a guest on, I'm trying to. That's the show's catchphrase.
That we embrace the tangent.
Here on Sid Part 2's channel, we embrace the tangent.
Wow, that just made me think of tangent from Algebra 2 and trigonometry, and that gave me a huge headache.
I won't say it.
I'm sorry, I'm having like major like that was like Vietnam War time for me. I'm sorry.
I had war flashbacks.
Yeah, it was like, tan equals, No, I'm sorry. That was like the one word you shouldn't have said. You shouldn't have used.
Actually,
Be serious.
real quick joke that what is it? San B divided by tan B.
Don't go there.
What? San B divided by, it's tan B divided by san B equals cos B, I believe. Yes.
I don't know, but...
Hold on, I'm gonna look that up to make sure I got it right.
No, we don't need to know this. Nicholas, say the
You don't get the joke, but I'm gonna mark down my time. Once I put up this image, Bill, you will laugh.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh! Sorry.
Anyway. Nicholas, say the damn line.
Oh, but that was like, that was terrible. I can't.
No,
Do it!
Give me a synonym for that, and it can't be like cosine.
No,
Are you kidding me?
I mean,
I thought you were
it's a
joking.
different word.
Here, wait, what is it? Here on Geeky Gentlemen, we embrace...
Here on Sid Part 2's channel.
Here on Sid Part 2's channel. I don't have a game show voice, though.
Well, just say your most enthusiastic voice. You're making this way more difficult than it actually is.
We were talking about math for approximately, like, a minute, and that drained all the enthusiasm from me. Not that I had much to
Do it! Snort some cocaine and do it.
Well, that's all in your...
Bill, that should be on a t-shirt right there.
So, that's not fair.
Snort some cocaine and do it.
That's Nike's new motto.
But damn it, Nicholas, say the friggin' line.
Damn it! I was hoping to derail this topic too. All right.
No,
It's not going to be on the quiz. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Thank God. Here on Sid Part 2's channel, we embrace the tangent.
Now, was that so hard?
It was.
Yeah.
I just... Now I need to go to a mental facility. Thanks.
I'll take you there tomorrow.
Bill, I don't like your friend.
I don't like her either, but I'm stuck with her.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm such a burden.
You are.
You are, really.
Am I making up for Milan? I hope I am.
Oh, yes, you are filling Milan's shoes quite nicely.
You know, we should have all four of us, because I'm pretty sure I'd be on Milan's side, because I know I can tell that you two are big bullies.
Milan's online.
He's online?
He said he wouldn't be.
Ian, add that fucker to the call now.
Nah, he's at his mom's place.
See if he answers. Do it!
No, because I don't want Russian craziness in the background. Here's the thing. He has the chance to rebuttal, and occasionally he does, and it's fairly good. But no, Milan's just always... Like, you know that group of friends, and, like, there's just that one person that everybody makes fun of?
Yeah.
He just kind of takes the shit. that's how.
No, he's that in every group of friends he has.
We're just the most recent example.
I hope it's not because he's Russian.
Well, that makes it easier because then we can make fun of him with really bad accents.
Yes, because you see, Milan is one of the most easy people to impersonate.
Did you try to do a Russian Christopher Walken? Because that's what it sounds like.
Oh, people, come here and just, look at my.
Okay. Anyway, I was trying to get on to something. And let me just hit this real quick. To get us back onto the topic. All right. Do you think that after Tony Stark stops playing Iron Man, anyone could possibly fill in for him?
No.
Fill in for Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah. Like, do they have to, like, even if they reboot continuities, can anyone else bring that character back in a new and interesting way?
You know, it would be interesting if he was Sherlock. if the guy from Sherlock was...
Benedict Cumberbatch is Tony Stark. I love Benedict Cumberbatch.
He'd have to perfect an American accent, I think.
I'm pretty sure he can.
No, I don't doubt that he
Not
can.
that
He's
good, but-
trained in the Royal Academy of Acting, but I don't think he can pull off Tony Stark.
Really? It'd have to be someone... Huh.
See, I don't know. I was actually considering this because this is what they're doing. When Robert Downey Jr. does decide to leave, because he is kind of getting old, up in his years, so they're thinking they can get him for at least another 5 movies.
Wow.
But after that, they're thinking like once Phase 3 is done, they're thinking they're just gonna treat Tony Stark like James Bond and just recast him. I honestly think that that's what they should do is just kill off Tony Stark and put someone else in the armor.
Yeah, really?
I think that's what they should do. Because there's a storyline where they do that, and it was fairly well done. It's called Iron Man: The End. So just put someone else in the armor. Like, I don't know.
Put his son that he had with this, crazy foreign dictator that was the daughter of a infamous crime lord.
Is that a reference to Damian Wayne?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Speaking of which, I saw a really cool fan trailer. I think it was Shades at Night. Don't quote me on that. It was called The Life of Bruce Wayne, and they just took all those really cool clips from Batman Begins and Dark Knight, where Bruce Wayne just had that swag about him, and they put like this really awesome, like Wall Streety sounding music to it. It made it seem like it was this really cool, like rich guy movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just want to see that and a Tony Stark movie. Like, I want to see those two characters, like that version of movie, where we don't even get into the whole superhero thing. We just get with them two dealing with each other.
Oh,
That would be awesome.
Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne and Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark.
That would be awesome.
That would be
wouldn't it?
awesome. I would pay top dollar to see that happen.
And I don't know, maybe Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor, if he doesn't have to play the exact same version in Superman Returns.
With with Jeff Bridges as a resurrected Obadiah Stane.
Okay. Or it just takes place before that movie, whatever.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know, sorry. Guys, we're kind of circling the drain on this topic. I just wanted to talk about Tony Stark real quick, because that's something I thought of. Is there anything else either you guys really wanted to bring up?
No, not particularly. I think we really kind of nailed this one.
Yeah, me too.
I just wanted to kind of sum everything up. I just wanted to say, reworking characters is not a bad idea. Straight adaptation is not always the way to go. But if you're going to rework a character, it has to be done in a way where it fits the story you're trying to tell, and fits in a way where it's an interesting, wow, I never thought that could be done with the character, but now that I saw it, that's awesome kind of way. If you're just doing it because you can do it, there's no point. Don't bother.
Okay. I'd agree, to a certain extent. For me, something that I meant to bring up, but we just never really got to the right time for it, unless I had to backtrack, which I didn't want to do. I see rebooting characters as kind of like creating... It's more or less the same thing as creating an Elseworlds tale. I think you should keep the heart of the character there, and assuming it's a good character to begin with. I think you should keep the heart of the character there, and to change things that provide an interesting dynamic. But once you get to the point where you're changing the character to fit your world, as opposed to putting the character as they exist into your world, is when you start running into major problems. And if that makes sense, and there are certainly exceptions to it, but by and large, I tend to stick to that rule with rebooted characters and just separate continuities in general.
Right.
Nicola?
Well, I basically agree with what you say, Ian, because I feel like if you're just utilizing the name to gain an audience and have a drastic spin on it for no reason, then I don't see the point. If you're doing it if you're going to do a drastic change, and if you're doing it to maybe implement some new techniques, adding some new ideas, like maybe putting some more obstacles or solutions for the character, then I can see why you would do that, but otherwise there's just no point.
We seem to all be on the same page.
Yeah, and that's really rare.
Extremely.
Anyway, so next week we're doing another review topic, and we're going to be doing two things. And I'll put a link to at least one of them here in the annotations of the video and in the description. We're going to be reviewing The Wall, the film version of The Wall, the Pink Floyd rock opera. And we're also going to be reviewing what many consider the sequel to The Wall, which is the Final Cut video EP. It's Roger Waters. The Final Cut was the first thing Roger Waters did after he left Pink Floyd. He actually still has the Pink Floyd name. I'm sorry, I misphrased that. The Final Cut was the last thing Roger Waters did with Pink Floyd, and you can really tell that this was his "I'll leave, but I want to do this" thing. And it's considered by fans to be The Wall Part 2. So it is really worth talking about. We're going to be mostly talking about the visual aspects of it. We're going to be talking about these in the context of the visual things, but it wouldn't hurt to listen to the albums for people really interested in this topic. So I'll link to at least the full video EP since it's free on YouTube, and The Wall is just a great film, so I highly recommend checking it out. And we'll be back next week with a review of it, and it should, barring incident, be Bill, myself, and Milan again. So, Nicola, thanks for coming by. It was great. And everybody, until next time, we are your geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing things.
Farewell.
Goodbye.